Anyway, back to the game, and am I recording? Looks like, yeah, I am recording, that's good. Okay, so I was saying is about music. Yeah, the days when I've had dreams about music and then I go back to the game. Yeah. As suffice to say, if I dream about music, even if I can't replay.
My son, I spoke to God today, and he is not very pleased right now. He wants some things signed.
I'll probably go for that because a contraception ban means more people. But anyway, suffice to say, even if I can't play the music I hear in my dreams, sometimes I can't even recognise the instruments, then at least my practice will be better. So that is a form of magic. You're bringing into reality something which so before was a dream. So I think that's magic. Right, contraception ban. No, it's not there, it's issue edicts. Interior? Yeah, there we go. Contraception ban. And what do you want? You want money? Yeah, you can have some. That'll keep people happy. Why is there that? Maybe if I build something there, that junction will appear, but until then I don't know. Anyway, so I pause for a lunch, and I've left the game running since then. Now, I've noticed with Tropico, if you play it for a while, the sounds, they stop working after a while, so we shall see. A few criminals arrive each year because the Argentina junta drives out criminals. We shall see. Pause. Yeah, that... No. Well, 57 people, I don't think...
Good news, Presidente! It's not lupus!
No immigrants. Well, that makes no difference to us. But anyway, now that I have power, I can afford a hospital, and... Now let's see, clinics. Small clinics provide healthcare, hospital. Hospital provide better healthcare for the population. Okay, let's go with a hospital then. And see if we can increase the birth rate, along with all that contraception ban. Where's a good place, hospital? They are good. There's people, there's people. Yeah, let's just put you there. There we go. And again, remind myself that I have many job positions free. Yes. A modern apartment block, I can do that. Let's have some condominiums. And some more houses. It's turning into one of those grotty neighbourhoods where all the houses are packed in like sardines and there's no room for any gardens. I've just remembered there is keyboard shortcuts for roads. It's been a long time since I played this game. But anyway, I had a point. I was talking about beauty, and I forgot my point. Unfortunately, I'll have to review the videos anyway. So I'll listen and see if I can count it. But it's important to have beauty in your world. You can't just have function. You need some good form as well. Oh yeah, and recommendations to go and see nice cathedrals. That was it. Yeah. So I was against the opulence of the Catholic Church, but at the same time, you see places like the Cathedral and you go, yeah, that really is beautiful.
Night, as I was talking to God, He told me He is disappointed in Tropico for not worshipping Him properly. Shame on you people. If this does not change soon, He will turn all the rum on Tropico into water.
And I think I can go a bit further in that and say that you can't be really that black and white with things. If let's improve the housing quality. There we go. It was 40, now it's 80. You can't be so black and white about things. I mean, you know, I'll probably be the first person to point out the problems with the church. What do you want?
Comrade, our plan for winning the Cold War needs
Yeah,
to
that's
enter
fine. They want raw materials, and I'm going to export that to them, provided I can get people to work in the mines. You can't discount all the benefits that you get from a system just because it does some shitty stuff. So I always thought to myself, well, at the very least, if it wasn't for the Catholic Church, we wouldn't have Father Ted. And if you haven't seen Father Ted, go and watch it. I thoroughly recommend it.
Presidente,
Oh, let's
as
do
you
a
knew,
speech.
the elections in...
What's an issue for people? Housing, crime safety, environment. Probably environment, because I've still got a lot of pollution in the island. Praise the spirit of myself. The loyalists like me. The USSR doesn't like me much. Militarists, they're alright. Okay, let's praise the USSR. And make a promise. Sufficient army. I can't promise that because if people don't join, then again, I don't need so many farmers. I have a supermarket importing food. Alright, let's go for army. Some voters will be swayed by your promise to increase the size of your army. Alright, let's go with...
Citizens of Tropico, the importance of the upcoming elections has brought me before you.
Ah, that'll provide some housing as
one
well.
step closer to our goals.
The army provides
Victory is
free
almost
healthcare
upon us, but
and,
we must still push forward.
housing for soldiers, right? So, now in addition to that, no, let's not get
Yes,
too
there are
ahead of
problems.
myself.
There will always be problems.
Again, I have to think about the
especially
amount
in
of
current
jobs
economic
and people
situation.
available.
The pollution in the cities, about which I hear so much these days,
Excuse
is
me.
one of them. And it will be resolved, as will all others, in time as the global economy stabilizes. The unbreakable friendship and love between Soviet and Tropican comrades ensures the dictate of the people for future generations. Our close relationship and common ideals will help us find a way to overcome all challenges.
Let's get rid of that dump. We don't need it anymore.
Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will come after the victory, and I have plans for tomorrow. As part of my reform plan for my next mandate, I shall see to it that the size of our army is increased.
Yes, have a few
Let's see
mansions as
if our
well.
opponents have the cojones to face our united front.
And because I'm so nice, all tenement housing is free, so there should be no more shanties anymore. Well, that's a fairly basic standard of living for people, yeah. Let's see. Tax cut, yeah, I can do all that. Let's add education. Not having same-sex marriages because they don't reproduce, so I'm not going to encourage that. Ideology book, no, those don't help people. Foreign affairs. Yeah, I need a Minister of Foreign Affairs. Economy and tourism. Pollution standards, there we go. Yeah, that'll help. Let's have pollution standards. And then let's have a building permit. So all buildings are more expensive, but I get some stuff from my Swiss bank account the way it should be. See if I was coming here. Yeah, doesn't look too bad to live in.
Excelencia?
Looking at that woman and looking at these kids reminds me, how is my grad school, this penultimate say, getting on? It's fully booked. Right. That means we want more. And this one has field trips, so there's two of these which are really useful. Spelling bee increases the intelligence. Field trips means gain initial skill in a random profession when they graduate. Both of those are good. Intelligence means they'll gain skills faster, and field education means that they won't have to spend so much long training.
Tropico is going green. A new program started by El Presidente will lower pollution by stopping power to random buildings.
Green is always better. It's great that...
I don't know what he's talking about when power consumption is 31 megawatts. Well, then, yeah, that's not a problem. Let's allow a few more teachers. What do you want? You want some money? Yeah, have some money. Another person with tummy troubles. No, not hiring a foreign expert. I suppose I could build a foreign... you see, that's the problem though. If I build 2 jobs and... well, I can always cancel jobs in certain places. Say they should be doing that.
Congratulations, President.
Right, I'm gonna have a look, see lists, job, children, criminals. I've got 6 of them, so yeah. I'm thinking I need to build a prison. Because that's 6 people that should be working. That upsets me. Oh, of course, correction, these are just entrepreneurs. So
The International Health
go away,
Organization.
Penultimo. Yeah, so of course there's no criminals in Tropico, because why would anyone commit crime in the happiest place on earth? No, we are going to have a entrepreneur training facility, which is run as prison, but it's to train the entrepreneurs who are need some skill in businesses. Re-education, that's it. Reskilling. And you're going to go in the education quarter. There we are. Now you guys have lots of work to do, so get to work. I'm not sure, it may just be my observations, but I think the builders prefer building accommodation before any other sort of job. You know, they're prioritising all the houses, all the mansions. Housing quality 84, housing quality 95. Let's increase the rent of those to a bit more to reflect its value. What's the rent in, that's the college. That's rent free. Yeah, so they can get good housing, cheap rent in Conventillo, but it does go down in time compared to the house, which always has house quality of 70. Not preventative medicine, let's go, fecundity. I'm not going to try and pronounce that word.
Talk fast, I don't have all day.
I can export
Venerable
goat cheese, provided that my Teamsters work, and I have 1, so yeah, okay, that's a possibility. So 1 Teamster to do all the work, and yeah, he's just late. Oh no, you didn't like that bench. Why is that then? What's that buzzing? Oh, that's from the jewellery factory. No? It's from that. Imagine just being a common labourer shit kicker, but you live in a mansion, along with Spilidan and Silafin. Good Tropican names, one and all. Execute criminal?
Sir, let's show those criminals what order is all.
Like I said, they're entrepreneurs, and no, just because they have unorthodox ideas about how to earn money, I'm not going to start killing them. With 64 people on the island, everyone is precious. Enemy tornado.
Sir, an enemy tornado has in.
Yep. Again, Russian hackers strike once more. My school? Oh no. Does that mean my children? Oh dear. Well, first of all, that can go away. I can't rebuild during an active disaster. I have too many Teamsters officers. I don't have enough jobs for all of them.
The tornado retreated, Presidente. Let's take a look at our island.
So one person died. Okay, so that's good. I'm guessing the kids didn't start the school then. That would have been upsetting. Okay, I think I need the weather station because the amount of earthquakes, tsunamis and other nuisances is just right. I always tell the truth, so it is always sunny. Oh yeah, sooner or later we'll be... No, let's have truthful reports for now. When I have the tourists in, then we can change it to always sunny in Tropico. What do you want? Increase exports? You want smoked beef? Yeah.
Greetings.
Well, you'll get that from my organic ranch. I wonder what Spanish for organic ranch is. I know in French that they don't use the term organic, they say produit biologique. So I said, okay, if I translate to English, that means biological products. Well, technically anything which is life is biological. But then if you think about it, the term organic is a misnomer as well, because if you look at organic chemistry, it means any chemistry involving carbon atoms. So even saying wholly inorganic, like hydrocarbons from petroleum refining, that's organic chemistry. Or we say petrochemistry. But if you ask NASA and they say, "Are you looking for organic?" So they're looking for carbon-based molecules, alcohols and sugars and things like that. You know, I've had the resources. I'd be tempted to turn this pup into a secret. No, not secret, please. Secret happiness enforcement motivators. I need to think of a good term for it. Whose song that motivates you to be happy? Besides a loved one. Although it could be the opposite of those. I'm tempted to make a corny joke there, but no, because no, I think it's good if someone can be in a loving, caring relationship. It's something most aspire to. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for love. So there's a bit of happiness. What are the builders doing? 3 builders. I'm guessing they found other jobs. I wonder if I increase the wage of all builders to loads. There's another one. All women. What was that for equal rights? We've got some builders next door. They're doing restoration work.
Presidente, the recruitment program, Join Tropico's Workforce and Get a Free Cookie, devised by our Minister of Education, has been a smashing success.
Some educated specialists come to the island. Well, we shall see. But anyway, I have builders next door and they're doing some restoration work on the thing. Of course.
Most honorable leader.
My wallet is open to all foreigners. Now, I've been observing them because I'm interested, as the house they're restoring is the one which is attached to this one, and it's an old building and they've done a lot of work to it. They're all men though, which I think is, to use the politically correct term, chauvinist and sexist, and I think it's terrible that there aren't more women and diversity in the builders' workplace. And there's an interesting question: why don't you get women street sweepers, women sewage workers, women, I'm going to call them bin men, but then we call them refuse collectors, and women builders? It seems there are certain jobs where there isn't a great demand for equality, and okay, so I've made that observation, I may as well give my opinion to it. Men and women are different. Ask any biologist and I'll tell you that. But it seems to be in this modern day and age, it is considered inappropriate to notice that there are differences between us. But there are, and you have to be a moron to not recognise them, but even morons can see there's difference between them. And likewise, not only are there physical differences, there are differences in the temperament between men and women. And I am grateful for that, because there are things women are good at, there are things men are good at, and we wouldn't have a functioning society if it wasn't for people finding their natural roles in life. By all means, it doesn't mean everyone should be relegated to certain tasks, but let's at least be pragmatic about it
I've never
and
seen
realise
so many
that we
smiling
are
people
different.
on the streets. It's almost like all mothers-in-law suddenly left the country.
I don't think my opinions are going to win any really. They're going to win brownie points with the modern progressives, and I don't think I shall be invited to any of their soirees anytime recently. More's the pity. I would have enjoyed free cocktails. But is the champagne really worth it when the conversation is entirely vacuous and disingenuous? I don't know. I'd rather have real talk and a cheese sandwich and a beer than... You see, the thing is, I've experienced both of those type of things. I've been to what's the name for that? Haute couture. I've been to those sort of things, and I've enjoyed caviar. Foie gras, not so much. I've enjoyed some parts of those outings, but at the same time I found the conversation to be entirely vacuous and superficial, and really, yeah, you get some physical satiation for your appetite, but you don't really get any of the mental stimulation. So these days it's a lot more down to earth and it's a lot cheaper, but at least the conversation is a lot more satisfying. I don't know when this game came out. I'm not sure it was 2012 or 2014, but I remember when it came out, I just thought, it does look beautiful. I don't mind that the graphics aren't the sharpest. They got the colours just right, really. And beautiful fireworks for National Day, doing them during the day. Because it's never night time during Tropico. It's always sunny, all the time. Very good for farming. 77 people. They have been busy, haven't they? What's the age of them now? 20 children, 20 teenagers to young adults, and 20 adults. Yeah, anyway. Oh, the prison's built now. You know what? I feel I'm going to have to bite the bullet, do some extreme vetting, and let's hire in some prison officers. Let's get those entrepreneurs in to the re-education camp where they can be trained to get those good education skills. Hang on, what's that? I think I saw something. If I can just do it right. Oh, she's not happy. Well, that's a shame. bare dirt. I'm thinking that's just the sort of place where we can have... No, that's not a garden. That's a garden. Oh, that's a beautiful garden, but it's big. It's too big. But yeah, suffice to say, I don't mind sass music so much now because it's... I was just getting annoyed with the constant trumpeting in it. I don't like trumpets. But with Caribbean music, there is this tradition of classical guitar playing, and I have great respect for classical guitarists because it is the most involved form of it. Who's the
Buenos días.
Just waiting to be enrolled in the University of Hard Knocks.
Presidente, have you heard of the new exploits of our Minister of the Interior?
So, the Minister of Interior, a former entrepreneur, has killed all 8 members of the Lucky 7 gang with a single bullet whilst drinking a glass of cactus juice. Oh, look, there's a foreign minister. Isn't that nice? Now let's keep it to neutral policies for now. Market's providing all the food, which is just as well because there is food there, but it is out of the way of people, and that's right in the middle, so that's good. Let's go for... No, let's just go for extra fish. Not that it makes much difference because no one's working there. And there's another one running in for fresh as week.
Okay.
Comrade Vasquez, what is the meaning of perestroika?
Perestroika means to be honest about your mistakes, to speak openly to the government, and to be true to your society. It is the new thing in the USSR by which communism will prevail in the world.
Oh, great. Have you lied in the past?
Of course, real communism has never been tried yet, so...
Comrade. I do not lie. I do not make
better luck
mistakes.
next time.
Perestroika is
Shame
the
about
same
Venezuela.
thing, then.
I remember years ago I watched this documentary called The Revolution Won't Be Televised, and it was about Hugo Chavez and his nationalisation of the oil in Cuba, and he upset a lot of he did upset a lot of rich vested interests in Venezuela, and unfortunately now they're suffering. I'm not sure what it is with South American countries, but they all seem to be suffering one way or another, and they have been particularly socialist, and maybe socialism can work, I don't know, but it seems so far it results in starvation and bad things. Right, so I'm building in some metro stations now, and this will be good because, as you can see, there's not many people using the roads, and metro stations are magic. You go in and then a few seconds later you're on the next side of the island. Of course, you're probably wondering, why does such a small island have all these vast underground entrances and exits? And well, the answer to that is there was this chap called Jaimito, and he was given a spoon and he was told to practice for the Olympics, and that involved digging tunnels with spoons. And so really he left these tunnels all over the island. Yeah, whichever island you're on, that's the one he leaves on. Let's take that one up there. Yeah. And let's put our metro station in there. So all the builders have to do is put a an entrance and an exit to the tunnel system that Juanito made. So thanks, Juanito. Your name has a J in it. I want to pronounce it as Janito. And that's me being Anglo, so there we have it. Fountains for everybody. Interesting enough, all buildings take the same amount of time to build in this game, except the metro station. Each one you build is more expensive and takes longer to build. Oh, there's a student.
Muy buenas.
And all he's done is a student. He's 18 years old, so he's had nothing but academia in his life. Oh, and there's an oil tanker. You see, this is why I get rid of
Presidente,
events.
one of my tankers, new
Yeah.
Titanic.
Spend $300 a month on cleaning up. You can click on it and get it to clear up immediately, but let's see, I have $2 million left, so no, I don't want to do that just yet. But anyway, as I was saying about academic thing.
Uh-huh.
What happened to that guy who was 18 years old, and all he's ever done is... No, not the timeline. All he's ever done is gone to school, so he's between 30 and 29, he looks like a kid.
Buenos días.
He's 17 and he's already a professor, well done him. Tropicans are the smartest, highest achieving people in the entire
Buenas
world.
tardes. Uh-huh.
Were you the one? Yeah, you're 18 years old. Okay, so you've become a doctor. Well, that's fair enough. So you complete your education and now you're going to work in this one?
Buenas tardes. ¿Qué necesitas?
All the doctors become very tanned.
No me interesa.
Well, anyway, that's most of the buildings built, so I think time to reduce the wage to the standard uneducated wage. Let's see, where's someone working that's uneducated? Yeah, there you go. Set wage for all uneducated workers. Later on, when I have enough people on this, upgrade condominiums. Okay.
Presidente, we, the hard...
Let's have a look at the description of the modern condominium. These are all condominiums with extra walls added so we can house more people. However, due to an ingenious marketing campaign, people actually consider them superior. They're so awed by these new condominiums that they stop throwing the garbage out the windows, and criminals are scared off by fake security cameras. Yep. Modern times. Exceptionally good housing quality as well. I mean, that's 95 housing quality, that's a mansion. And this is also housing quality 95, so yeah. All the way. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, let's have a modern apartment as well. Can I build one there? Is that a good place? No. Should I build one next to the schools? No, let's build one there. And then let's have a metro station next to these where all the resources... Teamsters can also go with the resources in wheelbarrows and then ship them out. So metro station there, there's the dock. Metro station there, which is great. So when these get producing, eventually, let's have a look at the economy. 49 free job positions. So now really it's just a case of waiting for the beautiful people of Tropico to go forth and multiply. But anyway, I was talking about Venezuela. Real communism has never been tried. Yeah, I remember seeing the documentary about television won't be revolutionised, and I think that inspired this game, because look, if you go to edicts in general, Hola Presidente, I can't do it. Start your own daily primetime TV show. also known as The Apprentice USA. Oh, yeah, topical jokes. That's going to age well in 8 years' time. Now, yeah, Hugo Chavez did have his own television show. I don't know, it was called Hola Presidente, but it was just a way to directly communicate with people without the interpretations of the press, which probably is a good thing. I mean, it's allowed him to say what he wanted to say. Whether he was full of shit or not, that's another matter entirely. So, yeah, it's a shame about Venezuela. I want every country in the world to be doing well, and it's sad when they do these social experiments and they don't work out. Because on paper, socialism does sound like a grand idea, and really I recommend, if you haven't read it, read Animal Farm by Eric Arthur Blair, or pen name of George Orwell. There's that question saying, hey, were you ever communist or left-leaning? I said, yeah, till I was about 15 and I read Animal Farm, and I think I probably made me an anarchist for a while. But these days, I'm not a teenager anymore, and I'm realising that in order to live in society, you need rulers, otherwise it's just, well, yeah, I don't think people are at the stage where they can rule themselves, so you do need rulers. And for the systems, if you've got a nationalist system, one which cares for the nation, I mean, that's traditionally what nations were. If you had a monarchy which was of the people and not, say, a foreign monarch that's imported from another country because the cousin was Catholic and we didn't want no stinking Protestants around, or vice versa. But yeah, originally nations were nationalistic, they were there for their tribe first, and I think the nations which serve the interests of the tribe are good, so one such nation exists in this world and it's called Israel, and they serve the interests of their tribe first. I noticed recently they were downgrading Arabic as one of the official languages, so I suppose Hebrew will be the official language unless it's English. I think English is probably a language confused, but probably not an official language of Israel. But anyway, Israel is a ethno-nationalist state. I know there are different ethnicities in that nation, Sephardic and Ashkenazi, as well as the Palestinians, who are I suppose the native Israelis.
Presidente, as you know,
But ostensibly, it is a nation which serves the interests of the tribe, and yes, the tribe are of different ethnicities, but they are all more or less unified together under a ideology which is called Judaism. So, well done them. Now, of course, I could criticise them, but I think there's plenty of other people that have been in depth and have done their criticism of the apartheid state there. See, up until very recently, I, like many other people, believed apartheid was, terrible, it's a two-state system. But then I started listening to some of the South Africans and talking about what apartheid was and how it always has been two different states, because from my understanding is there probably were blacks that lived there. They got killed by the Zulu, and then when the various settlers, I suppose the Boers, formed, there was no one there, they're all dead. I could be mixing up with the Transvaal though. Again, I'm not an Afrikaner, so I don't know about the history of the Cape and the settlements, Transvaal and Pretoria, or the other cities which were founded by white Boer settlers. But it was a wasteland, not wasteland, sorry, it was a wilderness, and like the pioneers in North America, farmers came in and they formed towns and they formed farms and they tamed the land. They made it into a country. the Zulus as well as the Bushmen and other blacks came in and went, yeah, that's nice, they've done well. Can we have some of your food? And they lived for a while.
Presidente, our minister...
But unfortunately, there is a clash, and that's why there was an apartheid state saying we need to live separately for the interests of both blacks and whites. And then the rest of the world had songs in the 1980s about living together and how great it would be if the South Africans could play rugby with everybody else. And unfortunately, it seems what's happening on there in South Africa, they've not learned from history, and they're repeating the mistakes of Rhodesia, which is now called Zimbabwe. I'm very upset to hear about the violence and the deaths of the white farmers there. Unfortunately, that's what happened in Rhodesia. The white farmers were killed, raped and driven off their land. Their farms were taken up and given to blacks, and then they went fallow and nothing was produced. And Rhodesia, as it was called then, was the breadbasket of Africa. Then it became Zimbabwe, and now they're importing food and starving because the farms have fallen into ruin, disrepair. So, you know, I would like it that both populations of the Boers and the blacks in South Africa were able to cooperate and understand that they probably need one another. Again, if there's any oohs or ahs or uhs, hesitations in my speech here, it's because I'm thinking, what's the least inflammatory way I can say things which are potentially controversial? And that's why I thought, if you're watching a Let's Play about Tropico, you will probably be a bit more aware than the average person about various political structures in the world and how that has served the interests of people. So Tropico deals with some rather dark things, like the Chernobyl disaster. So the commodity price of uranium increased by 100%. Well, if I had any miners, that would be a good time to exploit that. It's a game which does deal with some quite controversial issues, but it does it in a very tongue-in-cheek fashion. So I think it's a great starter if you want to look into the history of the 20th century to see what works and what doesn't. Inevitably, when I play this game and I start doing well and I bring in profits, I end up socialistic. I end up giving people free healthcare. Education's always free, and sometimes I've even gone free housing. But I think to myself, no, I would like the opportunity to live in a great house, because if it's free housing, you've got mansions and you've got shitholes like these tenements, then why would you want to live in the tenement when all housing is free? I mean, how would you get allocated a good house or a nasty house? And I'm thinking that's probably subject to more corruption than just like, well, if you want to live here, it's $7 a month. If you want to live here, it's $7 a month. If you want to live here, it's free. And likewise, well, there's one guy living in there, and this is $1 a month, and it's reasonable quality. All the entrepreneurs have had to finish because now there are no education officers. How unfortunate. Well, I've got 97 people now. Let's see. Still 46 free job positions. I think it was 49 last time I had a look at this list. So let's have a look at age. Oh, well, that's good. There's a lot of newborns. Okay. It's just got to be patient. But anyway, so the humming and hahing is me trying to think of what is the most, what's the nicest way I can couch these things and not just appear horribly bigoted. And then after a while you just have to go, wow, we are bigoted because we... What does bigot mean? Let me have a look up what the word bigot means. So this means I'm going to have to turn my mobile on, and so get those wonderful beepy beeps in the microphone. You know, there was this cartoon called the Boondock Rats, and if you look on YouTube, there's probably a clip of it somewhere called Nigger Technology, and they're talking about how certain technology, you know, is of the benefit of people, whereas other technology kind of brings them down. And they were describing that as nigger technology, and I can't really sum it up. But alright, so a bigot is a person that is intolerant towards those holding different opinions. Alright. Intolerant to those holding different opinions. So yeah, I didn't want to appear bigoted when doing this, and we all are. We're all intolerant of those who hold different opinions, because some opinions you listen to them and go, well, that's fucking stupid. And for a long time I was like that, and then I just go to myself, okay, it's not so much about being fucking stupid. And then I think, why is it that a person entertains such notions, or they believe in it so strongly? And I think it's a useful exercise, mental exercise at least, to think to yourself how other people think, for tolerance and understanding. I've decided to take this moment of celebrating National Day by clipping my toenails. It was bothering me yesterday. The shoes I was wearing were too tight, and it's because I haven't clipped my toenails, so not much is going on now anyway. It's just a case of waiting for the new generation of Tropicans to grow up and start filling their roles. Right, there we go. That's that done. Housing quality 88, housing quality 95. Just further proves my theory that Tropicans are a communal creature and love living together, because look, they could live there, nicer housing quality, but no, they prefer to live together. Then again, the rent is significantly cheaper. Let me see, the housing quality there is 70. I think I've increased the rent to 5. That housing quality is better, the rent's more expensive. There we go. Where I live, I have a fireplace, and it's lovely, and it's great for burning rubbish, but it means that within a matter of hours the room will get up to 30 degrees, which is lovely, but sometimes it's a bit much, and at which point I open up all the doors. I'd like to open up a window, but they are sealed for security reasons. So, yeah, I've got my doors and that's it. But yeah, let's see, I woke up at 6 this morning. I was very tired yesterday. I'm not the sort of person who normally gets up in the mornings. Although as I find as I get older, that does change now, and I quite like getting up in the mornings. There's my metro system.
Excelencia?
Well, Boista Dolanda, I'd like to imagine you're the first person to use the metro. Great. this should really help people get about, considering that there's not many garages, and yeah.
Tropico now has more than 100 citizens.
Excellent.
A small step
But anyway,
for the world,
yeah,
a
so
giant
I
leap for
thought,
Tropico.
now that the temperature is a reasonable 23 point, does that say 0.8 or point, if I turn that light on, I'll be able to read it better, won't I? Let's see if I can get the, right, turning it. Yeah, elections without speech. 23.8. Yeah. I can close the window. No, the window, the doors. There we go. I remember my friend saying, "Oh, you know what you red pilled me on?" And I said, "Is it the secret reptilian base on the moon?" He said, "No." And he started laughing, and my entertainment is conspiracy theories. I do enjoy them, and rather than watching soap operas, I'd much rather listen to. One of my favourites was that the Saturn, its rings, they work as a particle accelerator, and they transmit mind control thoughts to the Earth, and the moon is a relay for those mind control thoughts, and it's a moon matrix agenda, and it's that story's don't want to see the exclusive purview of David Icke, but he was the one I heard it from first. But anyway, my friend said, no, it wasn't. You didn't red pill me on that. No, you did it on global warming. And I said, oh, what's that? And he says, oh, you're telling me that that global warming is just a scam to collect taxes. And I said, yeah, because there are carbon trading, and you've got the various commodity exchanges across the world where you can buy and sell carbon credits, and that is now a commodity people trade in. And I didn't think much of it, and then I remembered the other day at work, there was this couple came in. They came to pick up their product, and they had a Land Rover, and they had a sticker on it saying that, oh, we're carbon neutral up to 40,000 miles. And I just looked at it and I thought, oh, what? I didn't say anything at the time, but I rolled my eyes and thought, what a load of bollocks. And as you see, there's this idea.
Congratulations, Presidente. You have won the elections.
Of course. Anyway, there's this idea that carbon dioxide is a pollutant, and yeah, they say it contributes to greenhouse gases, which will turn us into Venus if we don't watch out, and then life will be uninhabitable and the sea levels will rise. And I thought to myself, well, I've had ice cubes in a glass on a hot day, and if you leave it doesn't, when it melts, it doesn't overflow, the water level sinks, because as water is one of those unusual substances. I'm not sure if it's unique in it, but I can't think of any other substance where in its solid phase it's less dense than in its liquid phase. So that's why ice floats on top of water. But anyway, there's all this doom and gloom and scaremongering about global warming and how it's going to kill us all. And the only thing we can do to it is to recycle our rubbish, to use compact fluorescent bulbs instead of incandescents, and to do carbon sequestration, and to levy a carbon tax on...
Our Minister of Education has gone out of his mind. He is running through town shouting that students in Tropico are imbeciles who cannot...
I'll fire him, and let's get somebody
One of
else
our
in.
ministers was recently ousted from his position due to a tremendous...
Well, it wasn't he, it was she. It was, I did female minister. But anyway. So...
Nobody was fired, and there was no
to quote Alex Jones, and I can't do the graphic Texan accent, it's a tax on all human activity. And the funny thing is, I remember
Presidente,
saying...
do you want to tame the fierce nature itself? Are Our weatherman told me last night
volcano.
that the volcano is about to erupt.
Well, fortunately the volcano's over there, so it probably won't affect my people yet. But that probably means I should have a fire station. So let's go cat and tree. That increases housing quality. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's put you there then. But anyway, yeah, it's a tax on human activity, and places like China and India, the developing world, they don't play along with this, and that's why the industrialization, why industry, especially if it's energy-intensive industry, goes to China, where not just labour is cheap, but the energy is cheap as well. So really, we're shooting ourselves in the foot in Christendom by doing these punitive efforts.
Presidente, you have ruled Tropico for quite.
There are pragmatic voices who are saying, okay, if we need to deal with global warming, what we should be doing is using the resources we have available, increasing education, and allocating resources to increase our technology so that we can have fusion reactors and other clean technology, the sort which Nikola Tesla wanted to develop with, say, his Wardenclyffe Tower, which is again one of those other fun bits of conspiracy corner. Worth looking into the life and times of that man. I believe David Bowie played him in a film whose name I forget because I'd like to see it sometime. But yeah, you said you red-pilled me on that, and yeah, I always remember that, man. I was always very pleased. I planted the seeds. I suppose I always remember from the early, ever since I was a child, I've always been sort of instilled with scientific investigation, and really scientific investigation, and I'm going to quote another chap here whose name I forget, but he was saying it's a continuation of an age-old European tradition. I don't know if it's exclusively European, of telling the truth. I'm sure other societies value the truth, but he was using it as an examples of other societies not valuing truth as much as the Europeans, the Chinese, because of it's not just Confucian philosophy, but Sun Tzu philosophy of if you can oh dear, that fell down. Let's rebuild that then. It's better to do war by deception. I'm paraphrasing. You guys that know Sun Tzu, you'll be able to quote it better to me, and again send the back on the postcard to I don't care. No, don't be so cool. I do care. That's what I'm asking. But anyway, Sun Tzu encourages to do war by deception, because if you can convince your enemy you're not attacking them, then they're not going to put up resistance. Which is, I mean, that's why we have camouflage and decoys and electronic warfare in war. In fact, there was even some controversy early in the war with regular units and skirmishers using green and camouflage clothing, because they're saying that's a very dishonourable way of doing war. But soon other nations understood that actually it's not such a bad idea, and that's why all modern armies use camouflage now, so it's accepted that some deception is allowed there. But they're not just the only society. I mean, the Muslims have, I think it's called Takriya, and again, I don't speak Arabic, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's this idea that it's all right to lie to
A high school in Tropico, I would like to remind
those that aren't of the faith, if you believe it advances Islam.
Attempted murder
So,
of a classmate.
the idea of a noble lie.
Successful murder of a classmate. Spanking. Becoming a rebel and blowing up the school. Meeting with the school counselor.
Thank you, Miss
Assassinating
Pineapple.
El Presidente.
Thank you, Miss Pineapple.
I will not kill Presidente again. 100 times.
Right, so, as I was saying, yeah, so there are philosophers, Takia, and I think the Jews even have a holiday where they say contracts with the Goyim, they can be rendered null and void on a certain feast day, and yeah, and I'm sure there's other examples as well, but yeah, Noble Lie, that was, and you know, one of the quickest ways you can find something out on the internet is just to say it wrong, and then someone in the comments will just say, oh, it's not that guy, it's so and so, and you can learn a lot by being deliberately wrong, and I'm not being deliberately wrong here. I don't know.
Presidente, do you want to tame the
What,
fierce
another
nature
fire?
itself? Our weathermen told me last night.
Okay. Damn it. I need some firemen. Let's incentivise them by making it highly paid. Set wage for all firemen. There we go. Let's see if anybody joins in. But anyway, it's either Socrates or Plato or Aristotle, one of those Greek philosophers, that said that it's okay to tell a lie if you think if you think it's for the greater good. I suppose what is the greater good for the nation or the state? And I suppose sometimes there is a case of lying, but back to it, there's this idea which was instilled in me of telling the truth, and I think it is these days it's scientific.
Presidente,
you're trying to find the truth of the world, and unfortunately it only goes so far because science these days is by its very nature empirical. If you can't measure it, then it's not scientific, and I think, well, that's a shame then, because there's certain things like love or dreams, and you can't really do empirical research on such esoteric matters, but yet they are part, I'd say a very fundamental part of our world. But anyway, when I was in primary school I told fibs like most kids, and then I went to secondary school, which I suppose is middle and high school for those in that system. You go from primary schools for 6 years, and then after that you spend the next is it 12 years? No, you spend another 6 years in secondary education. So when I went to secondary school to do the second half of my compulsory education, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to tell the truth now. And sometimes telling the truth didn't serve me well, but it's a lot easier because then you don't have to remember your lies. You know, I don't think it's any brag, it's one of those things there, but I had an IQ test when I was 11, and they were trying to figure out why I was so disruptive in school, and there's like a lot of disruptive, badly behaved children in school, and I was just bright and bored, and usually if I couldn't amuse myself, oh dear, yep, the electric substation again has burnt down. I only have one fireman at the time.
Presidente,
My
as
God,
you
these
knew,
elections happen sooner and sooner. Anyway, so I had the IQ test, and the child psychologist said to me, oh, you know, if your memory retention was better, you would be in genius IQ. And so he said, then again, the IQ system is very arbitrary, and I think it's more a reflection of mental agility rather than anything else. It doesn't necessarily confer wisdom, and I think David Icke was quoted from somebody else where he says, well, what's the difference between wisdom and intelligence? Well, intelligence, if you're a genius, then that's what intelligence is, like the intelligence to build an atomic bomb. Wisdom is knowing how to build it, but deciding it'd be better off not to. And so these days I think I value wisdom more than intelligence.
President, relations between the USSR and China have soured. Both countries are arguing which form of communism is better. They are looking for allies, and we need to respond.
Real communism's never been tried. Yeah, so, but then you think, oh, well, right, well then what's wisdom then? Well, I don't know, you see. This is why etymology is not entomology, as I do not like insects, but etymology is one of my hobbies. I think it's very interesting to know the stories behind words, because if you know the stories behind words, it's you get a better understanding of language. Again, sort of to dip into the esoteric, which is a hobby of mine. I suppose it's a hobby of anybody that's got a lot of free time and so you got words, and words are, in order to spell them, you have spellings, and what's magic if not full of spells? Abracadabra, how do you spell that? With spellings. So yeah, okay, let's carry on that thought a bit more. So you got spellings, you got, spellings are made up of phonemes, phonetics. You spell your words phonetically. Of course, there are exceptions to that, like the word thorough. It's either F-U-R-R-O.
Presidente, you have one final year of your mandate.
What? Ah, right, okay, so this game will be over soon then. I like to continue playing until I get about 1,000 people and the game crawls to a halt, but... So... One final year... I shouldn't have picked tourism then, because that really means that... Yeah... Okay, so some of the job positions have been filled, that's great, but I'm not going to have one tourist set foot on my glorious island.
Congratulations, Presidente. You have...
Oh well. Yeah, so let's see. Spellings, magic spells. There is a bit in Genesis, and for a long time I said, oh, the Bible's a load of bollocks in it, but Nikola Tesla, who's one of my role models, you should always have crazy role models. He said one of the first things he did was to read the Bible and study and discern all the truth from it. And I really wish there was some notes kept on that, because I'd have loved to have read the Bible as annotated by Nikola Tesla. But I thought to myself, okay then, now I'm not one of those sort of people. Really, my exposure to the Bible and biblical stories was Roman Catholic school, and brilliant Irish priest. What's his name? Donal? Something like that. But he completely drunk, and whenever he gave his sermon, his eyes were never open until he was given the Eucharist. But he was telling me, I understand the biblical stories from what he said, and he wasn't too dogmatic, you know. He'd be quite happy to talk about Greek mythology with me, because I got always confused between biblical stories and Aesop's fables, and I was asking about one. He says, oh, I think you'll find that's one of Aesop's fables, and he was telling me the various ones. He would read them to me. Anyway, in Genesis there is... it's God speaking, and that's what creates the universe, and so we have that ourselves, where we have a thought and it has no form, and then when we speak it, it has form and it has substance. And if you look about it, all of our world you see around you was originally someone's thought or a dream, be it the screen you're looking at or the voice you're hearing, which again is transmitted via all sorts of magical technology. Or even if you're looking outside the window, you'll see trees which were probably planted by somebody. It may even be one of your ancestors. The fields, well, all of that is the work of man. And when I say man, that means humanity. It doesn't mean man, you cis-sexist pig. The modern world. I remember growing up in the 1980s and just thinking what incredible technologies would we have in the future, and flying cars, and it just seems to be that it's not really happening, is it? Oh well, that's why we need futurism, why we need positive science fiction showing us a good, positive world, because without that sort of forward thinking, we can't bring into reality the world we want to see.
Presidente, may your children be many...
No, because again, free job positions. Let's just fill up the jobs I've got first. Let's change you down to the same wages that all high school boys have. Not that it makes much difference at the moment. So it's 6 months and that's it. I'll have finished my 50 years as glorious Presidente. But, yeah, again, some people, you will want to dismiss it, and that's fair enough, because this bit is sort of very kooky, but the world around us is brought about by people's imagination, and I think it's very important that our imaginations be focused on good, positive things. So try and imagine a good, happy world, a world you'd want your children to grow up in, a world which you want to see. And I think a good way of doing that is encouraging people to read and watch entertainment. I mean, why is that not getting power then? Let's build a substation, there we go. Yeah, it's to encourage, but you see, I mean, it's like with science fiction. I mean, these days, I love science fiction, but so much of it's absolute crap. And the only science fiction I've enjoyed sort of is Rick and Morty, because it's effectively Back to the Future, the continuing adventures of Back to the Future. But like most science fiction these days, it is quite dystopic. And it's bad. I mean, we need good science fiction. We need a good, positive, utopian ideal of the future. Even if we can't achieve it, at least to bring some of it about. We don't need a Hunger Games society, as a certain individual has been famous saying. But yeah, it is important to remind yourself of the beauty and accomplishments of humanity, because that's not a contentious way of describing man, and to encourage positive thoughts of the world, because let's have a world which we all want to live in. Let's go into this game. I could have finished it there, but no, let's see this game to the end. So there's October.
Most blessed Presidente, the time has come for us to plan the construction of a new cathedral.
Oh, why not? Let's build a house for contemplation. Let's have a glorious cathedral where we can all go in. El Presidente is God's man on earth. Of course I am, of course. And for this reason, shall I build it near a metro? Yeah, here's a good place to build a palace to God. What do you want? Build a new church?
God told me last night...
I'm building a cathedral. That counts as a church. Anyway, this has been Tropico 4. A game... Oh, and that's it. That's the end of the game. Thank you for watching. Now go away.
Terrible news. After 50 years of ruling, El Presidente passed away today. Just kidding. Everybody knows that El Presidente will never die.
Oh, but of course I can keep playing. So let's save the game there. Happiest nation on earth. And I will really want to continue this in the future. Goodbye.